English Bible Study, Exodus chapter 12, verses 1 through 51, KJV. In the unfolding narrative of the book of Exodus, chapter 12 stands as a decisive and climactic moment where God's long-promised deliverance begins to manifest in power. The Israelites have endured generations of slavery in Egypt. Through Moses, God has sent plagues upon Egypt, each revealing his sovereignty over creation and false gods. Yet Pharaoh's heart remained hardened. Now we arrive at the final plague, the death of the firstborn and the institution of the Passover. This moment is not only historical but deeply spiritual, prophetic and eternal in its meaning. 1. The institution of the Passover, verses 1 through 13. God establishes a new beginning. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. This signifies not just a calendar change, but a spiritual rebirth. God resets time for his people. Deliverance marks a new identity. Each household must take a lamb, without blemish, a male of the first year, slain at twilight. The blood is applied to the doorposts. This is crucial. The Lord declares, "When I see the blood, I will pass over you." Spiritual meaning. This is not merely protection, it is substitution. The lamb dies so the people may live. From a Hebrew perspective, this act represents atonement. KHPR, kafara, covering. The blood becomes a sign of covenant and mercy, deeper theology. This moment foreshadows the ultimate Lamb, Jesus Christ. Just as the Lamb was without blemish, so Christ was sinless. Just as the blood saved from judgment, so his blood brings eternal salvation. Application today. Deliverance begins not by human effort, but by faith in God's provision. We must ask, what am I trusting for salvation? Have I applied the blood spiritually in my life? 2. The Feast of Unleavened Bread, verses 14 through 20. God commands a 7-day feast, no leaven is to be found. Leaven, in Hebrew thought, symbolizes sin and corruption. Removing leaven represents purification. Spiritual insight. Deliverance is not only about escaping bondage, it is about transformation. God does not just free his people, he calls them to holiness. Application. In modern life, what leaven remains in our hearts? What habits, sins, or compromises must be removed? True freedom requires inner cleansing. 3. The urgency of obedience, verses 21 through 28. The Israelites obey immediately. They eat the meal with loins girded, shoes on their feet, staff in hand. This posture reflects readiness, spiritual meaning. Faith is not passive, it is active obedience. They did not wait to understand everything. They trusted God's word fully. Application. God often calls us to move before we feel ready. Obedience opens the door to deliverance. 4. The judgment on Egypt, verses 29 through 30. At midnight, the Lord strikes all the firstborn in Egypt. From Pharaoh's house to the lowest servant, none are exempt. There is a great cry in Egypt. Theological reflection. God is not only merciful, he is also just. Judgment reveals the seriousness of sin and rebellion. But notice, where there was blood, there was protection. Application. This reminds us, God's justice is real, but his mercy provides a way of escape. We must choose where we stand. 5. The Exodus begins, verses 31 through 42. Pharaoh finally releases Israel. After centuries of bondage, freedom comes suddenly. The people leave in haste carrying unleavened dough. Spiritual insight. God's timing may seem delayed, but when it comes, it is sudden and decisive. Application. Never lose hope. Even in long seasons of waiting, God is working behind the scenes. 6. The ordinance established forever, verses 43 through 51. God establishes the Passover as an everlasting ordinance. Future generations must remember. Spiritual meaning. God desires his people to remember his works, teach future generations, live in ongoing gratitude. Application. Faith must be passed on. Our lives should testify. God has delivered me. Final spiritual message. Exodus 12 is not just about Israel leaving Egypt. It is about redemption through sacrifice, protection through blood, transformation through obedience, freedom through God's power. God's will is clear. He desires to deliver his people. He provides the way of salvation. He calls for faith and obedience. Today we are invited into that same story. Are we living as people who have been set free? Let us walk in that freedom with faith, holiness, and gratitude. Thank you.